The little boy who grew up in this Liberty City home loved music and he loved to dance. He went on to dance for some of the major companies around the world. Now Robert Battle is the artistic director of the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater. I'm pleased to welcome Robert to World Desk this week. Robert, thanks for being on World Desk.
Thank you.
What kind of memories do you have of growing up here?
I remember climbing things. You know, I remember a lot of things having not to do with dance. Just being a young, precocious child, getting into everything. There was a lot of singing around the piano that's on this very front porch. That one of the first songs that my mother taught me was "That's Entertainment" and "Look at Me Today." So I remember a lot of my awakenings, you know, my awakenings about knowing that I had an ear for music, that I could play piano. I remember my piano teacher, Juanita Hurd, who would come every Sunday for $6 for a half hour or whatever and teach me piano lessons.
That was a great American anthem.
And I remember dreaming of being hopefully famous one day. I remember being in my room and putting on a tape recorder and singing along and pretending that I was singing in front of millions of people or imitating Michael Jackson. And in this hot Florida heat, I would wear those like leather jackets and be walking around nearly, you know, falling out from the heat. But I looked cool, I thought.
So Robert, you made do with what you had, including these bars.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was starting to dance, I started late. When I would come home at night, I would play the ballet music and I would hold this bar, because this is like holding a ballet bar. And I would hold this bar and I would stand here and I would give myself ballet class right here. So it was an amazing time where I was doing everything I could to make sure I was as good as I needed to be. And so far, so good.
There is a time when people who are meant for greatness know that they were meant for greatness. When did you know?
To know that there was one moment, I wouldn't say, but there were many moments. And when I speak to students, I always tell them to think of their whole body as an ear when you dance. Think of your whole body as an ear so that you're so vigilant about whatever pathway you might be on. So I always did that, and I just trusted in wonderful teachers that I had who told me that I had some gift, some ability beyond what I thought was possible.
Your mom, inside this house, I take it at some point you told her that you got the job.
Yes.
How did you do that?
On the way to the interview, as I would always do, I called my mother and I said, well, I'm going to this interview. I'll probably find out. Who knows what will happen. It's very secretive. And I went up, and it was an amazing moment when Judith Jamison walked over to me and said that this job, it is yours, basically. And then I was told promptly after that that I could not call anybody, that all of these steps had to be taken. It was almost like becoming president or something. You know, there's that sense of all of this sort of rigmarole. Meanwhile, my mother and other people are waiting to hear what had happened, if anything happened, did I get the job, did I not get the job? So they had to wait. Finally, by 4 o'clock, I was able to call home and say I got the job. And I always say we both screamed, my mother and I, we screamed for about a week and a half. We just call each other and scream and talk about what was going on. It was an amazing moment.
I suppose you could hear the screams from this modest home all the way into downtown Miami.
Oh yeah, in downtown New York. I mean, there were a lot of people waiting. It was an amazing time.
One of the things that Judith talked about is the fact that she liked you because she thought you had your own vision.
Yes.
And what's your vision for Alvin Ailey?
My vision really is that anything is possible. Once it was about the African American experience in this country, but that experience translates into a universal experience. I think that's why when we travel all over the world, this company that has seen 71 countries, over 23 million people have celebrated this company, I think because it is universal in its language and its statement about hope, and that for us anything is possible. That the dance is a universal language, that so many people are influenced by each other. You know, the tradition of American modern dance, I mean, we have those to call our own. Jazz and modern dance are American, really. But that influence is global.
For audiences who come to the shows, what do you hope that they take away?
You know, I hope they come to the theater, and once they leave the theater, they feel a little bit different. Some people are moved to tears. Some people leave clapping their hand and stomping their feet. That we revel in the fact that dance is a celebration of life. And no one does that better than the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater.